Let's call the meeting to order. Anthony, could you please do the roll call?
You're muted, Anthony.
Sorry, folks. Councilmember Whitmer,
Here.
Wiese,
Aye.
Lempress,
I'm here.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Here.
and Mayor DeGolia.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, before moving on to the next item, Madam Vice Mayor asked that perhaps we could return to doing the pledge, and that's why Anthony looks like George Patton there as a way to the flag to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
No problem. Now that we have a flag, we can do it.
You lead on
I pledge allegiance
to the flag
Flag
of the
of the
United
United States of America,
America,
to the republic,
to the republic,
that
which
stands
stands
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible,
States. Justice
with
for all.
liberty and justice for all.
What's your
That's probably why we didn't do it before.
Yeah, we don't
remember
the words.
It is a test of what people are wearing to these meetings.
And whether you really know the pledge. Okay.
Very true.
The first item on the agenda is the declaration of results of the November 3rd, 2020 presidential election for the town of Atherton.
Thank you, Mayor DeGolia, City Council, and City Manager Rodericks. Before you, we have the staff report and certification of the November 3rd, 2020 presidential general election, where, as you know, the town of Atherton had 2 seats for 4-year terms for City Council. The results turned in after the official canvass of the San Mateo County Chief Elections official, Mark Church, were certified on December 3rd, 2020, delivered to the town. Based on those results, the City Council is required to adopt a resolution, which is included as attachment 2. Attachment number 1 has the details of those results, and that's in accordance with the California Elections Code 10263. The top 2 vote getters listed were Elizabeth Lewis and Diana Hawkins Manuela. So just a few things that I wanted to share in terms of additional stats. We did get 1,580 votes dropped off at our vote center that we had here. And the town of Atherton actually had an 87% turnout, which was just a few percent higher than the total county turnout, which was 81%. But the county noted that that's the highest turnout that happened in the county of San Mateo since 1968. A lot of it, obviously, several factors that contributed to that, including people all getting vote by mail ballots, but it was a pretty exceptional voter turnout for this election. With that, it's a very brief staff report. I'm happy to take any questions if you'd like. I'd also like to note that the budget was set in the 2020-2021 budget, and it was set for $10,000. We'll get an invoice from the county in January. So we haven't received that yet, but we should get that sometime in mid to late January from San Mateo County Elections Division. And with that, it concludes my presentation. Again, I'm happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions? Do I have a motion? I think we need to approve the resolution, correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
I'm happy to do that.
I move that we approve the resolution identifying and certifying the election that was held. in November.
Sorry.
Mona?
We need to accept public comment as well. I'm sorry.
Oh, very good. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mona. Is there any public comment on the item?
And just if anybody that's joining the call would like to make a public comment, I'll suggest that you use the participants button at the bottom of the screen to raise your hand, or you can use the chat feature that's listed to send a chat to me, and we'll take public comment on the item. I don't see any hands raised at this point. And I have no messages by email or chat, nor did I receive any in advance of the meeting.
Okay, great. So we have a motion, and did we get a second?
I'm happy to second.
Okay, thank you. We please have a roll call.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Whitmer,
Yes.
Councilmember Wiese,
Aye.
Lempress,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Aye.
and Mayor DeGolia.
Yes.
Thank you. So with that, we will now move into, oh, sorry, Mayor, I want to jump the gun and steal your thunder here.
No, go. I think that the next item is the oath of office of the new council members.
Yes, sir. So we'll do the city council reorganization. First up, we have recognition of our very honorable, remarkable, talented, and outstanding council member, Kerry Wiese. We do have a few special guests in attendance today that would like to say something for Kerry Wiese. We also prepared a proclamation for Councilmember Wiese. And Mayor, I don't know if you would like to read that, but I'm happy to do that as well.
No, I would like to do that. And this is a proclamation commending Kerry Wiese for his service to the town of Atherton. And it reads, resolved by the City Council of the town of Atherton that City Council member Kerry Wiese has been an extraordinary representative on the City Council since 2012. And whereas in his 8 years of service, he has demonstrated great leadership through his fearlessness in having difficult conversations when needed, while always maintaining a civil and compassionate demeanor, studying issues deeply, listening to constituents to seek understanding and represent their interests, and remaining committed to serving the community on every issue raised. And whereas over 8 years on the council, he has meant that he has participated in some 217 meetings, adopted 46 ordinances, 275 resolutions. He served as mayor of the town in 2014 and 2018, overseeing 14 proclamations. He consistently brought his perspective, commitment, and finally honed guidance to this community while drawing on his nearly 20 years of public advocacy and experience. And whereas Kerry has demonstrated his commitment with a 100% attendance at council meetings, he has also served in an advisory capacity to several town committees and ad hoc appointments. These included the Audit and Finance Committee, Transportation Committee, COVID-19 Construction Ad Hoc Committee, Caltrain Ad Hoc Committee, liaison to the Menlo Park Fire Protection District, Rail Committee, and the Contractors Roundtable, which is a remarkable set of services. Kerry served on several regional committees as well, including local policy makers group, which is for the rail corridor, and the Office of Emergency Services Council. And whereas the Town of Atherton Rail Committee noted Kerry's dedication to rail safety and the quality of life for residents, they noted his dedication to rail safety, citing his work leading to the implementation of the first quiet zone along the Caltrain corridor. They added that his insights and challenging ideas at the meetings greatly improved the quality and work done by the committee and improved their recommendations to the council. His work on the closure of the Atherton train station and obtaining the long sought after quad gates at Hawkins was key to improving the lives and safety for many Atherton residents. And whereas Kerry's colleagues on the council noted that he showed tremendous patience during meetings, never speaking out, always being respectful of consideration of his fellow elected members, and still adding to his well-crafted commentary. Kerry has been called a hawk, monitoring activities of special districts and being fiscally responsible with the town's resources. He has been keenly interested in exploring ways to improve service to Atherton residents and balance financial inequities. He is known for consistently bringing a welcomed and experienced perspective, having a deep understanding of the issues and at the council level, and clearly sharing those with his fellow council members. And whereas one of the fondest memories shared was of a time Kerry indulged the creative culinary talents of his fellow council member, Michael Lempress's daughter. He recounted that when Michael's daughter was 6 years old, she conducted a special smoothie with an unusual combination of flavors appealing to a 6-year-old and a color somewhere between brown and purple. Councilmember Lempress added that when his daughter very proudly offered a cup to Kerry, he graciously accepted and bravely took a sip. Kerry told her that her drink was delicious and that made her day. This is the type of kindness that Kerry demonstrated inside and outside the council chambers. And whereas Kerry's skillful representation of the town of Atherton has made a difference to the services received here in the town, as well as his savviness and talent in knowing just the right thing to say at the right moment, his contributions to the town will be remembered by residents, staff, and the council. Now, therefore, the council does hereby extend its deepest appreciation and gratitude for the many years of service, leadership, and graceful representation in this community that have been given by Kerry Wiese. And I
Thank
think
you,
we
Mayor
have
DeGolia.
some
I'll
other.
second that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, we do. I know that Supervisor Horsley's joined us, as well as a representative from Assemblyman Mark Berman's office. Supervisor Horsley, I'd give you the floor if you'd like it.
Thank you. I'm here with my dog. She goes every place with me because of this pandemic and being confined to home. She thinks that I'm her part of her pack, I guess. So she sits in my lap anytime I'm one of these Zoom meetings. But everything that Mayor Rick DeGolia is said is in the same proclamation that I was going to read excerpts. So I'm not going to bother with that. But I will say that I've actually known Kerry Wiese for over 20 years. I think probably goes always back into the early 90s when Kerry was resident up in the Highlands. And so I've followed his career and worked with him on a number of issues. And he has always been one of my favorite people. And he's a fierce advocate for his community, whether it's Atherton or it's in the Highlands up in San Mateo. He has always been somebody who has really looked out for the interest of his constituents. Sometimes he could be adversarial, but never in a way that was offensive. He was always, he was articulate, kind, thoughtful, smart, persistent, and, a very forceful advocate for his community. And at the same time, I always appreciate having a friendship with him and have enjoyed working with him. And he's just been, as I said, a great public servant. So I just wanted to make sure that I would be here to thank him for his years of service in Atherton. Thank him for, I think he'll probably, my guess is he's going to probably continue. He is not somebody who's going to sit back and retire. He'll continue to be involved, and his voice is an important voice. And it's a valuable voice. And he does study issues in a really detailed way. So I'm looking forward to his next venture into some other areas of public service. So I just wanted to express my thanks and congratulations and really thankfulness for Kerry Wiese's service to our community.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
We also have Leslie Bulbach from Senator Berman's office.
Can
We can
you
hear
hear
you.
me now?
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I apologize. I was muted. After Supervisor Horsley spoke, I feel like I should have my dog on my lap, but he's elsewhere right now. So unfortunately, Assemblymember Berman could not make this event this evening. I'm here to speak with gratefulness on his behalf for the service of 8 years and so much more additionally, Councilmember West. And I just, those of us who work in a legislative space know that it can sometimes be challenging to try to find common ground with constituents and other members of the body that we represent. But Assemblymember Berman just asked me to express his gratefulness and his thanks for the service that you've provided to the constituents of the town of Atherton. And just thank you so much. And we wish you well in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. I'm aware that we also have Mr. Wayne Lee, former Millbrae council member.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Suber. Yeah, I'm the former council member at City of Millbrae, and I just wanted to say, Kerry, how much I really appreciate your work with the county and the city of Atherton. You've been somebody who I always look forward to seeing at meetings, and I'm really sorry to see that you'll be stepping off. And I just want to acknowledge all the work you've done. I don't want to repeat everybody's comments, but you will be missed, and you were quite respected by myself and many other people. So fair winds and fair sailing.
Thank you, Wayne.
And I don't believe that anybody else is joined to celebrate Councilmember Wiese, but if anybody else would like to make some remarks, you can have the floor. I believe Gina Pappin is also joining the call, so we'll give her an opportunity in just a moment. So again, we're just acknowledging the accomplishments and celebrating Councilmember Kerry Wiese. I know that Ms. Pappin, you just joined the call. If you'd like to have a moment to make a comment, you're welcome to do so. Well,
sorry, there we go. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Sorry. Well, thank you very much. Just want to wish Kerry the very best, an exceptional job for the city of Atherton. And on behalf of the city of Millbrae, thanks for all hard work and effort. Really appreciate it and wish him well. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina.
Thank you. So, Mayor DeGolia, with that, we now have our next moment, the oath of office for our newly elected council member, Diana Hawkins Manuela, and our re-elected council member and current vice mayor, Elizabeth Lewis.
Are we not allowed to make a comment about? I didn't know. You know, if we would just let the public speak, that's fine. But if I have a few things to say.
Please go ahead, Bill.
So Kerry, I've enjoyed working with you over the last 8 years, and I really admire the growth that you've had during those years. I really appreciate everything you've done. You always sat there next to me, never saying anything. And the funniest things that ever have happened in the council meetings, at least from my perspective, is you say, well, is it okay if I make a comment, at the end, because you always, never got recognized. And so that shows, very clearly your patience. I personally appreciate, everything you've done with regards to looking into the fire district. You're extremely thorough, especially with that, and very, very passionate. And, those are things that we need. Somebody's going to get involved and be passionate about, identifying where the issues are and following them. And I personally, appreciate that. I enjoyed the meetings that you ran when you were mayor. You gavelled things along pretty quickly. Anyway, it was a great run of the 8 years, and you did a lot for the town of Atherton, and I'm hopeful that you're going to stay involved, not only here but perhaps somewhere in the county as well. To continue to help not only Atherton but also the region. So I appreciate everything you've done. I've really, really enjoyed working with you. So I'm sorry to see you go.
Thank you, Bill.
Rick, if I could.
Please, Mike.
Yeah, and Kerry, I just want to just briefly say how much of a privilege it's been to serve alongside you, and how much I've enjoyed what we do in the council chambers, but also just getting to know you and spend time with you outside the council chambers. And there's no reason to spend too much time on this, because from my perspective, I assume that we will continue to cross paths and to continue to have the kind of conversations we've had. And I don't think anything really will change in that regard. I do think that the town owes you a big thanks, and I'm glad you're getting it today. If you just think back of what's gone on over the last 8 years, it's really been kind of remarkable how much has changed, and the kind of shape the town is in today. And a lot of that is due to the work you've put in. So thank you. And again, it was a privilege and a joy to serve alongside you.
Thank you, Mike.
So through the mayor,
Please.
if I may, I have some remarks that I was going to make in my little other potential speech. But I first campaigned for Kerry in 2010. You may not know that, right, Kerry?
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
So I promoted Kerry. I campaigned for him, held fundraisers for him. He didn't win in 2010. I encouraged him to run again in 2012, which he did. And because of name recognition, and sometimes that's just how it has to be, but he was elected. And Kerry and I have shared lots of wonderful moments together. And we've worked together as colleagues for the last 8 years and on a number of projects. And so I admire him, and what everybody else has said, he does his homework. And gosh, Kerry, I thought I had 100% attendance rate, even if I wasn't there I always called in, but I look back and I think there was maybe 1 or 2 this past year that I actually missed. So God bless you, and best to you going forward.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Kerry, I want to say, even though I read it in the proclamation, probably the place that we worked, other than on the council in general, the closest together was on the Caltrain ad hoc committee. And the Caltrain ad hoc committee did a lot of work. Caltrain was intent on shutting down the station, and we were intent on making sure that if they were going to do that, that they needed to provide some real benefits to the town. And Kerry's focus was everything that the proclamation says about Kerry's interest in and dedication to the residents of the town is accurate. But I also saw a very technical understanding of the railroad's needs and the way that he could address those technical needs and requirements in the context of what was best for the town and residents of Atherton. And I think he worked extremely hard to thread that needle and manage those two sometimes conflicting issues. And we were very successful, largely due to his understanding of those issues, which came through very, very clearly. And I have just an enormous amount of respect for that. And I'm sorry that, we're moving on. I hope that there's an opportunity to work together in the future, because I think that you've got a huge amount to contribute. And I know that you're going to be very involved in watching this town center get completed and this whole process develop down there at the train station.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Before we turn it over to Mr. Wiese and allow him to make his half hour's worth of comments, which I know he's dying to make. He's got a long speech. I know he's prepared one. In my 20 years as a city manager, I've had the opportunity to work with probably close to 40 city council members over that period of time. And I just wanted to say to Kerry that you were one of the best, and I appreciate the relationship we built over these 8 years. And I now have a 2:30 open slot, but you're always welcome to call.
Is that 2:30 to 5:30? I think it would take that long.
Thank you, George. And Anthony, if it's appropriate, or through the mayor, if it's appropriate at this point, can I make a comment?
Please, yes, you're more than welcome.
Thank you very much. When I was thinking about the last meeting and my last comments of my final term, I was thinking about how lucky I have been to serve the residents of Atherton. As everyone is aware, I'm not a person of many words, and perhaps because I come from a perspective that I have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, to listen twice as much as I speak. It has been my honor and pleasure to serve as your council member over the last 8 years. When I was first elected to council, the council was in transition, and we have come a long way since that time. I am proud that we have worked together as one body, and because we have worked together, the town's in a better place. During my tenure, I have been led by the principle of ethics and representing our residents' interests and not my own. To our residents, I want to say that the job of a council member is a very personal one. The responsibility is not abstract, they are direct and specific. The responsibility for your safety at your home and your streets, for your garbage and recycling to promptly be collected, for your neighborhoods to be peaceful and to listen to your needs, and much more. I have had the opportunity to hear from many of you through letters, emails, phone calls, and public meetings. Through these communications, I got to know you and to understand your wants and needs, fulfilling some, but admittedly not all. It's a lot easier to read during the day when you have an opportunity, but right now it's a tough one. I'm glad to have been part of many accomplishments of the town, the ballpark at Homer Park, the establishment of a quiet zone in the rail corridor, the new civic center, and after years of struggling to become financially stable, a long-term plan that situates the town well for financially in the future. Tonight, however, is not time to recite litanies of achievements, but my dedication to the town speaks for itself. I want to thank staff, the department heads, and especially our town manager, George Roderick, for putting up with me for 8 years. But really, you've done amazing work day in and day out, and I thank you, and I will miss you. Our police department is strong as a result of the professional leadership of Chief McCulley. And Mona, our city attorney, is our newest addition to the team and has successfully provided outstanding legal guidance in these uncertain times. I believe I'm leaving the town in better shape. When I first arrived on council, I have made the most of my service and I've done my best. To my colleagues, past and present, I am honored to have served along your side. However, the past election cycle was challenging and wrought with misinformation. Going forward, please care about and be kind to each other. It will serve you well. I thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, I was muted.
It's probably my longest speech.
All right, sir.
That's true.
Probably is your longest speech.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Kerry. Any other comments or jokes?
I'm sure there's a few.
Okay. Anthony, do you want to move forward then with the next item on the agenda, I guess, is the oath of office.
Yes, sir. So with that, we will move to the oath of office for our newly elected council member, Diana Hawkins, and our re-elected council member and current vice mayor, Elizabeth Lewis. So if I could ask the two of you ladies to raise your right hand. And if you could say, state your name.
Elizabeth Lewis,
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
to the Constitution of the United States and to the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without mental reservation
without mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Now-
Mr. Mayor, sorry, I didn't hear Diana at all through that.
Yeah, I think we need to do Diana next.
I was saying it. I don't know what's happening to I'm not muted.
We can hear you now.
Well, say it again.
That wasn't just me, right? No one else could hear her? Or-
I was saying
Oh,
it. You know
sorry.
what? I think it'll only listen to one person at a time. So she would answer and it would go to her. But I swear I said it.
I saw her mouth
I
moving.
swear I said it.
We should do it
Her
again.
mouth was moving, so I assumed that she was actually saying it. It looked proper.
Okay.
With that, Mayor DeGolia, I extend the floor to you for remarks if you'd like.
Yeah, I have a couple brief remarks. It has been a great honor to serve Atherton as its mayor this past year. Atherton is a remarkable town and has a wonderful group of residents to represent. It's genuinely an honor to represent the residents, and I know everyone on the council feels that way. There have been several significant losses this year. This year has obviously been dominated by the COVID-19 pandemic, hopefully a once in 100 years experience. But this pandemic has dominated our meetings. It has completely eliminated our ability to engage in the important in-person contact that we have been used to engaging in, and it has adversely impacted our health and our economy. When I began this year, I spoke about how service on this council is the most time-consuming volunteer work that I've ever experienced, and how it has been a genuine pleasure to work with my fellow council members over these years because we've been so collaborative together. This council, the 5 of us that have been on this council these past 6 years, is the longest serving council in the history of Atherton. I am proud of everything that we've accomplished over this time. Over this year, we have focused on the enormous town center project, and we have done everything that we could to keep it on budget and on time. This is by far the largest project in the town's history. It's an enormous responsibility to manage this project, and none of the council members takes it at all lightly. In light of the delays that have been caused by the pandemic, it is remarkable that we remain on budget and on time. And that's partly due to a conservative budget that we established, but it is amazing that we've made the adjustments properly we've needed to make to remain on time and on budget. And the projections are that our administrative staff will move into this new facility in July 2021. I find that remarkable. And if we remain on track, it will just be really unbelievable that we've been able to achieve that. When I accepted this position a year ago, I had a number of priorities. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will focus on 3 that I consider the most important. The first and foremost, I have been committed continuously to prioritize the safety of Atherton residents and support for our police department. Over this year, we tackled the extremely important privacy issues related to the possible deployment of automated license plate readers in Atherton, and we moved forward to deploy 21 license plate reader cameras to protect our residents. I believe this to be an important protective move, and I think that it will pay serious dividends in both deterrence and solving burglaries in the town. I'm proud that we've done that. And I'm proud that our department and that our chief have responded to the difficult challenges in the middle part of the year that arose from the Black Lives Matters issue and the Floyd murder. And I am extremely proud the way the police and the chief have responded to that. Finally, I'm proud of the work that ADAPT has done this year, of the support that Atherton has provided to ADAPT, and at how well positioned I believe that ADAPT is to address our important disaster response needs going forward. The second issue that I consider of equal importance is prioritizing conservative fiscal management of the town. Nothing illustrates this focus better than our constant monitoring of and engagement with the town center project. And I know that we've done that. I do look forward, once we've been able to pay off the expenses related to the town center, when we pay off our loan in the next 5 years, to begin to readdress the long-term liabilities as we have done before. And I know that we will do that. Finally, when I was mayor in 2015, we launched the process to declare the first quiet zone in San Mateo County at Fair Oaks Lane. That was a serious learning experience that both the council and staff learned from, and it resulted in a great improvement to the quality of life for our residents. I'm proud that over this past year, we were able to successfully negotiate an arrangement with Caltrain, whereby Caltrain will design and will deploy quad gates at Hawkins, which will enable the town to declare a second quiet zone, thereby establishing a quiet zone on the train tracks from border to border throughout all of Atherton. This will be particularly important for the new town center, and I expect it will have an even greater impact on the quality of life in Atherton than we experienced with the first quiet zone. In closing, I want to thank the members of the council for your dedication to Atherton, and I really mean that. This council is enormously dedicated to this town. And I want to thank every member of our staff for your professionalism and your dedicated work. And I want to thank each of the residents who work so hard on our committees that give the council such good guidance. I look forward to continuing to represent our residents and to work with this council and staff over the years ahead. And Anthony, the floor is yours for the selection of the next mayor.
Thank you. I want to give any council members or members of the public an opportunity to make some comments if they'd like at this point. If we had any additional.
Through the chair, the mayor, I would just say that I think Mayor DeGloria, in a very, very difficult time of 2020, has done an excellent job as mayor. He came into this position in December last with, we didn't realize what was ahead of us. And by February, March, the whole world changed. We had to learn how to do different things. But besides all of that, he was able to keep his eye on the ball and really pushed forward and accomplished a great deal. I really, really have enjoyed being vice mayor under him. Thank you very much, Mayor DeGloria.
Thank you.
I believe that Mr. Wayne Lee would like to make a comment as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry to keep making comments, but you all mean so much to me, and especially Mayor DeGloria. I want to congratulate you and really thank you for your outstanding leadership. Not only have you led the city well in terms of Black Lives Matter and the pandemic and all the other things that mayors do, but I mean those things were obviously unusual, and you did it very well. But you also have been a leader in the county, and I think people don't maybe know that in Atherton, but they should appreciate that impact you've made for the whole county, especially in vice chair and probably chair of the Peninsula Clean Energy, which provides clean energy for most of the county. You helped form that, and you helped led that, and it meant thousands of tons of greenhouse gas eliminated. It meant emergency backup power for medical devices for senior dependents. It meant incentives for reductions of greenhouse gas. And then when the national government started calling the virus the Wuhan virus, the Chinese virus, Mayor DeGolia stepped up with courage and said and signed on a letter and said, this is not acceptable. This is not, we're not going to victimize Asians. And I tell you, as president of the San Mateo County Asian Pacific Islander Caucus, we as a group, we as an ethnicity really appreciate your courage, Mayor DeGolia. You stepped up with no hesitation at all. And I think that's just a remarkable, that says something remarkable about your character. And you've always been a friend too. You've always been open and easy to approach and very open-minded. And not only that, but you also stepped into trying to learn new things. I've seen you at other meetings, and where I don't see other council members, I see you, and you're always trying to learn something new, and always you're always open-minded. So again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you, and also I just hope the city appreciates you as much as I do. And thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you, Wayne.
I do not see that any other hands have been raised, so I will also thank you for your time as Mayor, Mayor DeGolia. You've made my job very easy in this Zoom environment by being a great facilitator. With that, I will now declare the seat of the mayor vacant, and nominations are now in order and open for the position of mayor of the town of Atherton.
And I'd like to nominate Elizabeth Lewis.
So no, we don't need any seconds for these nominations, just as a point of order. We can take additional nominations, and then we would take the vote on each of those in order, or we can just take a vote now if there are no other nominations on the floor.
Are there any other nominations?
Not for me.
I don't see any other nominations, so with your permission, Mayor, I can do a roll call vote.
Please.
Councilmember Hawkins.
You need to unmute yourself.
Yes.
Councilmember Lempress.
Aye.
Councilmember Widmer.
Aye.
And Vice Mayor Lewis.
Aye. Thank you.
And Councilmember DeGolia.
Yes.
With that, we now have a new mayor for the fiscal year 2020.
Calendar.
Did I say, thank you, calendar year 2020. So with that, we'll now declare the seat of vice mayor also vacant. We'll follow the same process. And any nominations on the floor?
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Mike Lempress.
Well, it seems like 2 nominations is better than 1. Councilmember Lempress, unless we have any other nominations on the floor, I'll conduct a roll call vote as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Hawkins,
Yes.
Councilmember Lempress,
Normally I say aye, I'll say yes, because yes.
Councilmember Widmer,
Yes.
Councilmember DeGolia,
Yes.
and Mayor Lewis.
Yes.
Congratulations, Vice Mayor Lempress.
Yes. We've done
Um,
this before, Mike. We can do it again.
We can, we can.
Now, I know on the agenda, we have, an oath of office for both mayor and vice mayor. It's more of a ceremonial thing. Both of you have already been sworn into office. So if you'd like to do that, I'm happy to do it. We can do that for you, Mike Lempress, if you'd like.
I'm fine, but I'll defer to the mayor and see
So
whatever
I
he
think
wants to do.
maybe in the, consideration of time, we've done it before, Mike. We can do it again. But I think that we're committed. We're sworn in, huh, Mike?
We are, we are.
Okay.
Excellent. And so the floor is yours, Mayor.
Oh, gosh, thanks. See, I just got more time for myself because I do have some things to say. I just want to thank my fellow council members for electing me to be your mayor for the 2021 year. I'm deeply honored, of course, and I'm humbled by your trust, your confidence and your willingness to work with me during this coming 2021 year. Believe me when I say, I promise to do my best. There can be no denying that 2020 will be remembered as probably the most difficult that we have ever experienced. The virus disrupted our normal everyday life, our economy, and the deaths of our nation and the world are staggering. The COVID journey required us to rethink our priorities and how we lived in 2020. On a personal note, I'd like to share that my husband Joe and I were on a medical journey in 2020, which ended with his losing his battle with cancer and passing away Saturday, December 5th. So we buried him Monday, December 14th, and I will miss him dearly. We knew that it was an uphill battle because 35 years ago, he had cancer and he beat it, giving him what he called his second life. And I was the luckiest girl in the world to be able to share more than 30 years with him in his second life. In the fall, he insisted that I run for re-election for my 4th term on council. He knew how much I love the work and I love the residents of Atherton, and he knew that he was not going to recover. I'm glad I did, and I'm glad and thankful and grateful for all of the many Atherton residents who re-elected me for my 4th term on council. As I look to 2021, I know that it has to be better than 2020 for all of us. We have learned how to live with adversity, to be creative in how we conduct business, and to be careful in how we live and interact with others. There is hope that the vaccines that are coming will beat back the virus and somehow restore some normalcy to our lives. I pray that it all works as planned. As far as our council is concerned, I have thoroughly enjoyed working every one of my fellow colleagues over the last 8 years, and as Mayor DeGolia, the outgoing mayor, so aptly said, our council of 6 years together did the most that I think any other council did for Atherton. I love the way we were able to express our opinions respectfully and to deliberate issues while trying to compromise. I hope we can continue to do that in the coming year. I really enjoyed that we tried not to become polarized in our individual positions, and we would step back and take a look at an issue and collectively say, what is best for our residents? What policies do we make that will benefit our residents the most? Because that's our job. As we say goodbye to a fellow council member, Kerry, Wiese, who has been a colleague of ours and who has worked so hard in his council and committee roles, we thank him so much for his 8 years of service. And as I said, I have been a big fan of Kerry's since 2010, when he ran for election and didn't make it, then ran again in 2012 and was elected. And he's been a dedicated servant. But looking to 2021, there are many new beginnings that we are looking forward to. And the first is to welcome our new council member, Diana Hawkins Manuelian. I had the privilege of working with Diana for the past 2 years on the Environmental Programs Committee. I know how Diana works, and I know that she will bring energy and new perspectives to council. She is collaborative, forward-thinking, and she's also willing to compromise, even if her ideas and suggestions are not readily accepted by council. She moves to solution solving, and she's not polarizing. And I'm also very thrilled to have another female on our council with me. The next big thing to look forward to in 2021 is, at long last, our new town center will be completed. This is something I've personally worked on for over 10 years, and to see it become a reality is a dream come true for me. I'm told we're targeting July 21st, 2021 for a soft move-in date, just as our former mayor said. In January, we will have new garbage haulers, thanks to the hard work of our fellow council member Bill Widmer and staff. We will have green waste services providing our garbage services. So we're looking forward to that. I think it will save our residents money over the long term. Our police department continues to have new crime fighting techniques and strategies, such as the recent installations of our flock cameras, which are proving to be a benefit to our town. New traffic measures, calming measures are on the horizon due to the community outreach and hard work of our Public Works Director, Robert Avadia, and staff. We have our new leaf blower ordinance discussion to look forward to. We have our new housing element update to complete. We have new hillside screening solutions to deliberate on, new regional flooding projects to collaborate with our San Mateo County neighbors. And we have our continuing work on our climate action plan to help reduce greenhouse gases where we can. And then we will experience our new life without our train service to our Atherton train station, because that stopped just on Monday, I believe, after I think 150 years. And then we need to figure out how to integrate that historic train station into our new town center. In closing, I just want to sincerely thank our town staff for their excellent work this past year and to their dedication to continuing to work hard for our town in the coming 2021 year. Without you, we could not have accomplished what we have accomplished, and we cannot begin to accomplish what we have in front of us in 2021. I am so humbled to be a servant, and my phone's ringing, and to work for the town of Atherton. Thank you so much for electing me mayor, and I will do my best. Thank you.
I believe that Mr. Lee would like to make another comment.
I promise you this is the last time.
Hi, Wayne.
I just want to congratulate you, Mayor Lewis. Again, I had comments about you, of just saying that I really also appreciate the fact that you've been a pretty good mayor, and I have a lot of confidence you will be a good mayor this year. And you've always been a very vibrant person, and I really appreciate it. And that's one of the things I'm going to miss, seeing a lot of you and a lot of other council members. But what I wanted to say was, because I'm off the council now, I've served 9 years with the city of Millbrae, and I was your representative on the Associated Bay Area Governments, and that was quite an honor. And I wanted to take the opportunity to thank all of you, all of Atherton and council members, as well as some of the dignitaries who are here, Virginia Chan Kerry and Maria Trang from Hillsborough, and Mayor Laura Palmer Lohan from San Carlos, and Gina Pappin from Millbrae. It's been a big honor, a great honor for me to serve you in trying to build housing and to make sure that our peninsula is represented. And also, on a personal note, it's been a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot. And I think that it was a privilege for me to serve with you in the county and doing things together. So I hope we cross paths. And I'm sorry, Elizabeth, about Joe. I'm so glad I had the opportunity to meet him a few times. He's a great guy, and I know that we've gone through a lot together. I know with your mother and my father, and so best to you and your family. So
Wayne,
thank
I'm
you
sorry
again.
to see you go. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to see you go, Wayne.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. But I will still serve with the caucus. So if anybody has questions or needs support, we're there for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I believe that we also have Gina Pappin who would like to make a comment, and then Laura Palmer Lohan as well afterward.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Mayor Lewis.
Thank you, Gina.
It's been a pleasure working with you on CCAG and the Legislative Committee, and I look forward to continuing all those efforts for all of our cities throughout the next year, and hopefully beyond that. We have much work to do. I know Joe would be very proud of you. I'm so glad he talked you into this. I know it's been very, very hard, what a wonderful guy. So thank you for sharing him with us at the Council of Cities dinners many times. I don't know if he was that thrilled, but it was nice to see him there. And I wish you and all of Atherton, the town of Atherton, all the best this year, coming year, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina, for your service also. Appreciate it.
Ms. Palmer Lohan.
Great. Thank you. Mayor Palmer Lohan from the city of San Carlos. One of the reasons that San Carlos is a city of good living is because we have such great neighbors in our communities nearby, Atherton being one, and it has to do with all of your leadership. So I want to thank you all for that. Thank you, Councilmember Wiese, for your leadership. Your proclamation and accomplishments listed tonight are absolutely awe-inspiring. My only regret is that we didn't have an opportunity to work more closely together, but it sounds like given your commitment to the community, my hope is that we will have an opportunity to do so in the future. I also want to recognize outgoing Mayor DeGolia on his accomplishments, his calm and steady leadership. This was an incredibly difficult year for all of us. And I imagine in the role of mayor, it was even more challenging. He serves as a mentor to me and a guide on Peninsula Clean Energy Board. And I look forward to our continued work together in that area. I want to congratulate you, Mayor Lewis, on your reelection and now new role as mayor, and express my deep condolences for your loss. It's very heartbreaking to hear. And it's very touching that Joe insisted that you run again. It speaks a lot to who he was as a person. And I also look forward to working with you in this role.
Me too.
Vice Mayor Lempres, congratulations on your new role and your steadfast leadership. I'm looking forward to getting to know you and working with you. And Councilmember Widmer, we met briefly on the garbage board when I was serving for a couple of meetings, and really appreciated your clarity of thought and your advocacy for your community. And it's just nice to be a part of this celebration tonight. And I want to congratulate Diana Hawkins Manuelan. Welcome. I look forward to getting to know you, and congratulations. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this role based on your commitment to community. Thank you so much, everyone.
Very nice.
We also have Virginia.
Hi, thank you so much. This is Virginia Chang Corrali. I'm representing the Fire Board and the Harbor Board. And I just want to congratulate Elizabeth and Diana on being elected to the City Council or the Town Council. I know that you're going to do a fantastic job, and I join you, Elizabeth, in welcoming another woman elected official within the Fire District and the Harbor District. So welcome, Diana. And congratulations to you, Elizabeth, for being elected as mayor by your colleagues. Well deserved for sure. You and I have been friends for a long time, so I'm very sorry to hear about Joe as well, who I felt was also a very good friend of mine. So I'm very sorry to hear that. And anything I can do to help you, or if you need to talk or whatever, you know how to reach me. And Mike Lempres, congratulations to you for being elected as vice mayor. I know how great you are. And I think that the town of Atherton is lucky to have you and Elizabeth in leadership roles. And Rick, thank you for your leadership as mayor for the year 2020. Definitely an extraordinary year, and definitely a difficult time for anyone to be in that leadership role when we're trying to we're in uncharted territory, right? And it was not a smooth sailing situation. So thank you for your leadership during a very tumultuous time. And Kerry, thank you for doing the things that you have done, asking the questions of the fire district, and just being there as a sounding board, and also listening. And I know that you have the best interest of the Atherton residents at heart. And I, hope that, we can move forward with the productive, collaboration with the fire district, moving forward. And I know that the town is going to miss you, and I hope that we keep in touch as well. Congratulations, and have a wonderful holiday as we approach 2021.
Virginia.
Thank you, Virginia. The last that I have is Valerie Gardner.
Hello, good evening, and congratulations to everyone. I don't want to repeat what has already been said so unbelievably articulately tonight. And pretty much in the course of the history of this council, I can't tell you how impressed I have been by how thoughtful, articulate, caring, and hardworking everybody has been. So I'd like to just be the voice of residents in this town who may not be well represented on this call, but I'm sure share how I feel, how grateful that there are people like you who are committed and volunteering your time despite pandemics and despite things going on in our personal lives that are so difficult now, that you are stepping up and being the kind of super volunteers that make this town run like a finely tuned engine. And I just think that, you know, given where we are as a town, we've come a long way in terms of our finances. We've come a long way in terms of the professionalism of the town staff and the way things operate. I am just unbelievably grateful and impressed by how well the town is being run. We have managed to weather this pandemic. We have a peaceful and a respectful transition of power and operations on the council, which is more than you can say for a lot of governments that we know about. And it's very impressive. And I think it speaks so well to the integrity and the character of this town. And the last thing I want to say is that while the pandemic has killed hundreds of thousands of people and has been a truly tragic, fast-moving steamroll in this country, I continue to want to emphasize that climate is as bad a pandemic and as difficult a problem as we have ever faced. And I'm looking forward to having a council that is truly ready to step up and think about how Atherton can contribute to not just incremental or minimal actions, but to leadership on this problem. So I'm looking forward to opportunities to have that conversation and have this new council apply what you do well to thinking through how Atherton can contribute in a really meaningful way and show leadership. So thank you all. Congratulations to all. Thank you, especially Rick. You work so hard. I just cannot even imagine how anybody could work harder for this job. And congratulations to Mike on your position, and Elizabeth, of course. I'm looking forward to having you as mayor and seeing what you can do with support of Diana and everybody working collaboratively. And Kerry, you and I share something that we are people of few words and tend to want to listen more. And I appreciate you for that. The fact that you can step up and serve and be there, you know, on the spot, articulating your thoughts is very impressive. And I know from somebody who's not used to doing that, how hard that is. So thank you so much for your time and for yours and for your efforts all these years. So thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. Thank you very much. So Anthony, are there any other raised hands who want to speak from the public?
No, we do not have any other raised hands, Mayor.
Okay, so I think we're ready to move on to item number 5, which is public comments, and they can be made. Anthony can explain how public comments can be made, please, Anthony.
Certainly. So if you'd like to make a public comment, you have a few options. If you just bear with me a moment, I'm going to post some of those in the chat. But essentially, you can raise your hand by using the participants button at the bottom of the screen. You can send a message to me in our chat feature. And if none of those options work, I'm going to post a cell phone number that you can use or send an email. Now, I am aware that we have one public comment for today. And so I'm going to unmute her and give her the floor. With your permission, Mayor.
Certainly, and I think that we have a 3-minute time frame.
That's correct. So Stephanie, you have the floor.
Thank you, Anthony. I sent some visuals. I'm not sure if you were able to open them. In the last meeting when I wanted to use visuals, I think you said that you could put them up so people could see them, because I'm not able to do it because I'm blocked.
So when you submit public comments in advance of the meeting, I make them a part of the public record on our website. And so those were made a part and they're still live for anybody who'd like to take a look at them. I did see an email from you during the meeting, but I just didn't have an opportunity to get those out in the midst of
Okay, I'll just have to go without the visuals, and then maybe I'll email the town council with the visuals later tonight.
Distribute those to council for you.
Okay, so we met a couple of weeks ago at the special meeting about the football lights. And in light of the upcoming meeting about the football lights, I think it's important to talk tonight. So at the last meeting, I presented legal and factual problems with Menlo's special events permit application, and my arguments were dismissed and the permit was granted. And it took a talk with the town attorney, 3 letters to the mayor, and only after telling them that the residents would be filing a writ of mandamus the following Monday did the town back down and revoke the permits. So that was based on an incorrect reading of the law, and that's why those permits were voided. However, you also received the wrong information in that meeting as well. First, absolutely, the lights that Menlo proposed to this point are well over the noise ordinance. And I have in visuals an email that explains this from Wonko, the light manufacturer, but you're just gonna have to take my word for it right now. I called Wonko 3 times and got the same answer every single time, that there are 2 diesel models that will light a football field. And I emailed the specs, but you can't see them right now. There's a compact tower light, which emits 68 decibels, and a lay down light, which emits 71 decibels. And those are clearly well over the 55 allowed. So any other information that you heard at that meeting that there are fewer decibels was just incorrect. You were given the wrong information. However, I don't think you heard it from Menlo, and the burden should have been on Menlo to complete their application. They should have shown you that they could comply with the town ordinances when they were asking for special permission, but no one asked them to do that. To complete their application, they also should have had a plan for how they thought they could use the lights on Wonder Lake. And they didn't. They also never, ever committed to any kind of plan to comply with the ordinances on Wonder Lake. There's also another issue about the way the permit was granted. The town told me when I was talking with them that although the lights that were proposed that are not downlit, and downlit is required by town ordinance, they said that they're only going to require the light not to spill on resident properties. So I asked them, well, how will you know if the light is spilling onto the residents' properties? And they said, oh, well, the resident will have to record the light, with video or camera or some special equipment that's going to show it that light spilling, and then bring it to the town and present it to them. Even if that's constitutional to put the burden on the resident to enforce the express requirements of the law that Menlo is not being held to because they're supposed to be downlit, even if the residents did do that, the residents have not been able to get the law enforced. This is probably why Menlo didn't complete the application for lights, because they're used to having things granted to them as a matter of course. When I noticed the setback problem on Wonderlick Field, I talked with Lisa Costas on the phone and followed up and asked her to document in writing a couple things. That email was sent, I believe, off the top of my head, I think it was November 30th. And then I followed up with another email on December 7th because I wanted to establish that the setbacks that are ignored are not grandfathered in. But she has absolutely acted like the conversation never happened, hasn't responded to anything I've done. And so the illegal field is continuing, and they definitely should not have special permission for lights granted on a field that is absolutely 100% illegal, and the town is allowing it and ignoring the residents. Not only that, but when the residents call about noise violations on the fields, the police disregard it. And Menlo has used that knowledge of the police not enforcing the noise ordinance to move a PA system and store very large speakers on the field to amplify the noise.
Sure. With respect, you've exceeded your time limit. I'd like to give you a few seconds to wrap it up. Thank you.
Okay, I noticed that the next meeting regarding the lights is scheduled for December 28th. And on December 28th, most of the residents will not be in town, and also many will be in areas where the internet is extremely spotty. The state has already said that football cannot begin until at least the end of January. So is it unreasonable to ask you to move the date to January when the residents can actually be heard? Because the whole point of this is it's really important to establish clear facts, to have and make sure they're correct, to demand complete knowledge that Menlo of how the schools are planning to stay within the ordinances, and to have real dialogue and really listen. So this meeting is very, very important. I think I've established that the residents are being ignored and the ordinances are not being enforced.
Fisher, with respect, I appreciate your comments. You've exceeded your time limit. I'd be happy to take any additional comments in writing, and I can make sure that gets to all of council.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
May I just ask the city attorney and or staff to, after the meeting, reach out to Ms. Dishler and make sure that we have all of the information that she's referring to, and all of the visuals that she was referring to. I haven't looked on our website just recently, but and with respect to her comments after the meeting, would that be appropriate, George or Mona? Could you do that for me, please?
Yes, we'll make sure that happens, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, George. Thank you. Okay, so are there any other public comments? Any members of the public that wish to make a comment on items that, according to how we make it on the teleconferencing?
I don't have any other hands, and I don't have any other notifications that any other public comments would like to be made.
All right. Thank you. And with that, let's move on to our item number 6, our city manager's written report. It includes written reports from the town's various departments. The staff is present to answer any questions the council may have on the various issues noted in the written reports. Council may ask questions and discuss any of the various items. Can I ask if any member of the council has any questions for the city manager regarding his report?
Madam Mayor, I actually do have a couple questions.
Okay, go ahead, Mike. Thank you.
So, George, with regard to the closure of the train station that's mentioned in the report, I believe the last train is December 19. Is that correct?
No, I believe it was this past weekend. The station is closed.
Yeah,
this
it's
coming
done. Okay, I was going to suggest we at least get some pictures or something of the last train, but apparently that.
I think John Malbich did it.
Yeah. There was a resident or two who was interested in having a party at that particular time. So there may be pictures.
There were pictures.
We should actually grab them and just, it's an historic moment. It really is.
It really is.
So I think Mr. Malfish may be in here tonight. I thought I saw his name. Maybe he would like to make a comment about it. John?
He needs to be unmuted if he chooses to speak there. He's still muted.
Let's see.
There he is. He's unmuted.
Good. John, would you like to make a couple of comments about the closing of the train station, please?
Well, it was a dramatic event.
Was it?
I went over. I do have some pictures. They're not very good. I took them with my phone. There were other people there taking pictures. I didn't know any of them, but they may contribute them at some point. I don't know. Some guy had a big selfie stick and took some video. The high point for me was talking to the conductor who stepped off the train. And I told him he was, the last train to the coast, as the song used to say. And he said he would miss us. So it was,
Great.
it's sort of sad for me, as all of you know, Rosemary was a big fan of that station. And it would have been fun if she could have walked over there with me. We would have carried a glass of wine and toasted the last train, but so it goes. I will get the picture. Where should I send the pictures? Should I send them to George?
That'd be great, John. Thanks.
Okay.
Any other council members have a comment or something about the city manager's report?
Well, my one other is, George, if we get any kind of update on the robberies, I know a lot of people are interested and we had a meeting last week, but it sounds like there may have been some activity since then.
Yeah, there was a recent press article in the Almanac, actually, that noted a few things, recent updates, and I know that the police department is working on a public release as well, particularly with respect to the AOPR cameras.
Okay. Anyone else? Any members of the public have a question about the city manager's written report? If not, we will move on to the consent calendar, items 7 through 11, that we're going to move as one motion unless someone has questions or wants to pull any item 7 through 11. Any member of council? Hearing none? Yes. And then
I'll just note that in the minutes of November 18th, there is a motion number 4 that is both made and seconded by Councilmember Lempres.
Wow. I care a lot about that particular motion right there.
He really wanted it to go.
Just that he revised his motion.
I'm not raising that for the purpose of changing the minutes. I'm just noting it.
Well noted. Anyone else? Any members of the public have any questions or comments, want to pull any items 7 through 11 in the consent calendar? Tina, and I'd bring it back to council for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second with Councilman Widmer. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hawkins Manuela,
Yes.
Councilmember DeGolia,
Yes.
Councilmember Widmer,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lempres,
Aye.
Mayor Lewis.
Aye. So we're going to move
Motion
on to our regular agenda, items 12 through 15. We're going to review and approve the response to the grand jury report, quote, ransomware. It is not enough to think you are protected, end quote. And we're going to have the report given by our city clerk, deputy city clerk manager. Sorry, Anthony.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. So as stated in the staff report, this was a response to the grand jury report that we received in early October. Every jurisdiction within the county received it, and the response is required by California Penal Code. It lists several findings within the actual grand jury report that we received, which were identified in the staff report, and I'll briefly review some of those findings and the required recommendations with your permission. I would like to note that our town's IT manager from contract vendor and consultant Interwest is on the call, Mohammed, if you have any additional technical questions after we're done and you'd like those addressed. And we are also in plans of hosting a study session in sometime late second quarter of 2021, where council will get a detailed overview of the town's cybersecurity plans, including, what we do with ransomware. So the grand jury report listed several recommendations and findings, as I mentioned. Of those findings, they recommended that the town have a cybersecurity program and strategy implemented. They also recommend that the town IT department review that strategy on a consistent and regular basis from top to bottom. They also had a variety of different best practices that they list, which include trainings Our town goes through a training annually that was included as attachment 3, very detailed training that was put on by Interwest, our consultants. And there's about, I don't know, 30 or 40 slides included in there that the staff members all participated in it, and it will be done again coming up. Again, so some of those additional recommendations were identifying external email messages, rules that can be used to flag external emails, thereby decreasing any probability that a user clicks on a bad email. So if you note that when we receive emails, there's that red bar that goes across the top. That was something that our IT department put in place to help us identify some of those kind of ransomware attacks. Many of us in the town, and maybe even some of the council members, have received a request to buy gift cards or a request to go to the bank and withdraw money, and it says it came from Finance Director Robert Barone. But if you look a little deeper, the email address is not from Robert Barone. It is not using the town's domain. And so that ransomware kind of messaging was something that we put into place in, I think it was in 2020, or maybe late 2019 to deal with those types of attacks. Other best practices were security training, which we do, establishing a comprehensive backup process, which we also do, taking snapshots or backups on a regular basis, either daily or monthly, which the town also does, and consider cloud hosting of a variety of different applications or emails, which we also do. Again, with your permission, I'm just going to list those 8 findings. So finding number 1 was ransomware is a real and growing threat to public entities, including those in San Mateo County. We obviously agreed with that. And in the response letter, we're required to either agree, somewhat agree, so on and so forth. And so you can kind of take a look at where we stand with it. But we agreed with all of these findings within our response letter. Across the county, the local governments and schools represent 12% of all ransomware attacks. We agreed with that. The direct and indirect costs of ransomware can be significant. Again, we agreed. Cybersecurity reviews and assessments, an updated, well-executed cybersecurity plan are critical components of IT security strategy. Again, agree. Comprehensive cybersecurity plan should include, at minimum, information concerning prevention steps, spam and malware software backups, and full recovery and testing. We agree, and we actually have all of those implemented. The identification of phishing attempts, which was listed as the single largest threat, which is kind of what the email that I described, including the use of spam filters, is an important component to protecting an IT system from ransomware attacks. Testing a full restore of server to ensure that backups are reliable should be undertaken regularly as a part of the entity's backup plan to recover lost information. And then finally, number 8, training of new employees on the reoccurring training of existing employees is an important component of defenses against ransomware. So these were the 8 findings, and the recommendations again are listed there. But we agreed with all of those findings, and many of them are things that the town is already currently doing. And with that, I'll take any questions. Again, if they're extremely technical in nature, we have Mohammed available to assist.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you very much. Any questions from any member of council? Seeing none, I'll open it up for members of the public. Any members of the public have a question or comment about this? Anthony, I think you did a really good job kind of giving us a real brief overview of it. So I'm looking forward to our training come 2021 on this.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, this is a review and approve. We don't need a motion, do we, to approve this?
I would like a motion to approve the response letter.
Right.
Oh, okay. Very good. I call for
confirming that there's no further public comments, Anthony.
No, City Attorney Ibrahimi, I haven't received any.
Okay. So can I call for a motion to approve the letter?
So move.
Councilmember Widmer, and second?
I'll second.
My notes reflect Lempress twice.
I know. No, we'll let him second with this one, okay? Vice Mayor Lempress seconded the motion. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hawkins Manuela.
Yes.
Councilmember DeGolia.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Councilmember Widmer.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lempress.
Aye.
And Mayor Lewis.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So we go to our last one is the 13 Town Center project update. Marty, are you on the call tonight?
Marty is not, so I'll take this one. It's purely informational, and Marty gives a pretty detailed report as to what's going on in the town center. And I know that a number of you have taken recent tours through the center, and our newest council member is scheduled to take one sometime at the beginning of January. So we're happy to answer any questions you may have. Otherwise, this is just informational.
Any questions from any member of the council about the Civic Center report? Open it up for public comment about the Town Center report. I'm excited, and understand we've got sheetrock going in the walls and everything now. So I need to get over and take a look. Thank you.
The admin and police building is largely sheetrocked.
That's really good.
It's really moving.
So, Elizabeth, I don't know when you're going, but I'd love to go with you. So if you want to do it the next week or so, I'd love to do that.
I think next week is probably a good time. Yes, thank you.
I'm supposed to be with Marty on Tuesday. So you guys want about 11 o'clock if you guys want to come.
I don't know. I think I need to stay away from you guys. Maybe I just.
One other can go.
Yeah, one not
well,
three.
We're not going to talk about it. We're just going to look.
No. Look, I just got the Brown Act, letter from Mona again.
Between COVID and the Brown Act, we just can't get together for anything,
No, not even. Okay.
Well, you guys can draw straws if any of you want to come at 11.
Okay, thank you for the invitation, Councilmember Widmer. So item number 14, council reports or comments. Any council reports or comments?
I have something to add to.
Good.
If I could. First off, with regards to the COVID, on the county call today, as we're moving to the highest level starting tomorrow, it was pointed out that our rate of positive tests is now 10 times as high as it was during the summer. That's how serious this is. And, we do have surge beds, so we can set up essentially a field hospital and staff it. So the county manager feels comfortable that we're not going to have people in hallways and things like that. So we'll be able to take care of people. And we have plenty of ventilators. However, the surge rate, and it's attributed to the Thanksgiving holidays. They're saying that the infection rate can happen in 7 days. So you may get exposed, but you're not going to see that exposure for essentially up to a week. The state is going to identify the pecking order of who gets shots when, and the state is currently working with Walgreens and the CVS pharmacies to be prepared to give out the injections, and they're going to start by working in the care homes, and so that is about to start. They're the first some in the first major wave, and so that was it from the county meeting. I'd like to add up another item that I would like to bring to our attention and see if there would be interest. I spoke to George. He said to bring this up here, see if there would be interest in a letter from our mayor to the governor. As many of you know, I'm a regular participant at church services and providing service through the Order of Malta and things like that. And I really think it's just absolutely terrible that even though we can have small shops open and we can have Costco's open, although they're doing food, I agree with that, open, with a participation rate or an entry rate of 20%, that in the churches are either closed and they're not having any services whatsoever, which I think is inappropriate. And secondly, at least at our parish, we're having services and we're outside in the rain and the cold weather, And that's, of course, if you want to talk about people getting sick from that's a terrible situation too. So I think that I would like to have, the council at least consider, having the mayor send a letter that would ask and, maybe even point out, there's supposed to be separation of church and state. It's part of our Constitution, and the Supreme Court recently ruled on this with regards to a synagogue in New York. So I just don't understand why we have that. There should be, essentially identified as an essential business for the church. And so I would appreciate if we would have some support on that, and then authorize, in a future meeting, look at a letter and authorize the mayor to send it to the governor.
Thank you, Councilmember Widmer. I think the city manager would like to say something.
And so if the council would like that to appear on the January 13th study session for consideration, we can do that.
I think that would be appropriate. I know that the church that I go to, we have Zoom meetings, and it's been, good, and it's probably a lot smaller church than the one that Bill goes to. But I know it's really important for people to feel that they can come together and worship, but there also needs to be, I think, protections and cautions taken. Anyway, I think it would be worth us to discuss it and talk about what we can and can't do at this point. Any other council member have a comment about that? Mike, Vice Mayor?
I just say I'd support it. I'd like for us to look into it.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right, George. Okay, thank you. All right. If that's all, then I think we're ready for an adjournment. But usually at this point we have cake. We have cake. But yes.
There may be other council members with comments. I'm not sure. I think that was just
on that.
On
really
other items.
I want to do cake.
You have to eat one, Mayor.
I can't eat them all.
The thing is, you have 6 left. I have 1 left.
Last one, Rick.
Yeah, this is the last one. And I've been
Ken's
waiting
not even there, huh, Rick?
I've been waiting to the end of the meeting.
Oh no. Well, they're so beautiful. I couldn't bear.
Didn't stop me.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, George. When can we break cupcakes together again?
Right now.
There may be other council member comments before adjournment, Madam Mayor.
All right. So, okay. Other council member comments? George? Who are you referring to?
I think Diana has her hand up.
Diana, see, I don't see her.
Sorry, I just wanted to bring up the topic of meeting times. And I don't know if you guys have talked about this in the past, but our meetings start at 7 o'clock, which is pretty late. And the last 2 that I observed went till midnight, and it got so late that many people dropped off. So I'm wondering if there's any other support for the idea of possibly discussing making it start earlier than 7.
It's something that we can talk about, maybe at a study session. It's meeting times are all over the board throughout the region. I know at CCAG, they moved it up to 6:30 instead of 7, and with the hope that it goes until 9. Diana, I have to tell you that when I first got on council in 2008, the meetings would go until 1 o'clock in the morning, or after that. And so at one point, we kind of put a semi-hard stop, like at 10, to really kind of try to end it at 10, with the thought that after 10 o'clock, if it goes past that, you really are kind of brain dead a little bit. And at my age, you would definitely be a little bit more brain dead. But it's something that we can talk about.
I appreciate that the goal of setting it in the evening is so that we can accommodate people who are working and making it for the public. But starting it so late means it ends so late that many people drop off. So I just, I know for myself that I'm pretty brain dead after 10 myself. So I just don't know if you discussed it before and it just hasn't come up, or if there's a reason why it starts so late.
Yeah, it's come up. Yeah, it has come up before.
Yes.
I think I'd support talking about it at the January study session.
Absolutely, yeah. And the thing is, I think that it really has to do with how we set the agenda. And it's really up to the mayor and the city manager to manage the process a little bit and set the agenda so that we don't pack so much in that it's unmanageable. And so I vow to try to, work on that a little bit. Does that sound like a...
Yeah, the key things, Elizabeth, and George and I have spoken about this, is the important things that require a lot of focus need to be earlier in the meeting, not the last item, and that's the big issue. So
Right. Okay, well, let's just all, bond together that we're going to have that as one of our key issues to discuss in our January study session. Thank you so much, Councilmember Manuela. And I think that would be, it's a really good suggestion. And in the dark of winter, having late meetings, especially longer than 11 o'clock, is just untenable. Okay.
All right, I believe you need a motion for cupcakes and then you're done.
Oh my goodness. I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and thank you all.
Oh, I'm wearing my red Merry Christmas sweater.
Yes, you are. You're very jolly.
It's in next year. Wow, right? Our next meeting is next year?
January 13th.
Meeting is next year.
Wow.
We can get together for some subcommittee meetings if you'd like, Mike.
So yeah, that's going to be fun. Hey, Robert Barone, hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Everybody have to stay safe and don't get COVID and just be smart about everything, okay?
Yes. Yep. That's what we're doing. Yeah. I ate my cupcake already. I'm going to need one of those, Mayor.
I'm going to have to bring one over tomorrow. All right.
Did you eat all 6, Robert?
Go.
No. I ate one yesterday and I ate one during the meeting. That's where I stopped my video. I was eating my cupcake. It kept staring at me. Sorry.
Go Clemson, huh?
What about the other 4?
No.
I don't know. Didn't everybody get a half a dozen?
Everybody did.
Okay.
Yeah, so Robert, where are the rest of yours?
I had the community shared one from the offices. We had a couple dozen. So I've had 2. I kept count. So I've had 2.
That's heavy.
What's
your favorite one?
That would share some with the members of their household, though.
Yeah. What was your favorite flavor? I'm carrot cake.
Mine. Yes, that was mine. That was mine. I had carrot cake and then I had blueberry tonight. Was there
blueberry?
Yeah, there was. Karen got the blueberry.
I've got a strawberry here.
Ooh.
Well, which one is the
We
carrot?
have to do another cupcake party.
The one with the cream cheese frosting.
Okay, because does it have nuts in it, Robert?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, well, I can't eat that. So thanks.
The carrot cake does.
Thanks for pointing that out, else you may not see me at the next meeting.
Yeah, they're walnuts.
Okay, well, I'm so allergic to the walnuts, yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, somebody has a chat here. Who did this?
I think that was just Virginia saying good night and happy holidays.
Yeah, Virginia says good night. Okay.
So are we looking
good
for
night, everyone?
Is that what we are?
Hey, motion to adjourn.
Happy holidays. Be safe.
Happy holidays.
Thank you. Welcome, Diana. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Glad you're on board.
Bye.
Bye, Robert Ovadia. Oh, you're getting more beard all the time. Look at him. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wayne, so nice to see you. And Chief McCauley, I should scroll down. And Miss Dressler, John, nice to see everyone. Marie, I don't know who you are. I haven't met you, I don't think, Marie. Patia. Anyway, all right. Let's say
Bye.
goodbye.